Hi. Hi.
Hi.
I'm
I'm live from
I'm live.
Scotland.
This was
If you can't hear
this was not
everybody,
my
she is
plan.
live from Scotland and I am in Saratoga. So again, just like we talked about in our last episode of travel. So I think she may be a little bit frozen right now. But it's pretty cool that she's at a castle in Scotland and has traveled all over the place. So Um, I'm here, really excited at the New York State Legislative Conference today speaking. I'm gonna do a little workout this morning. My
It's not
best friends here in Saratoga are gonna come and do some weights with me because I haven't moved my body in a while. So hopefully Ellen's able to come back to us. And I think also her sidekick is going to be joining us too. I don't see him on here yet. But if it is just me, don't worry about it. We can definitely. I wonder if I could ever see the chats. I know I can put in the chat, but I wish I could see them for everybody. But so it's kind of cool. I'm here today. I just got named. This is kind of a big deal. I just got named the Chief Wellness Officer of the board of the state legislative group. So it's a very, very exciting title. And it was interesting of how the whole thing came to be. My dad was a legislator, and he got me in touch with this incredible man called Steve Aquario, and he is the head of all counties in the state of New York. And he took the call just to be nice, just to say like, "Oh, okay, I'll speak to your daughter," And ends up that he was surprised I knew a lot. So, hi, Ellen, are you back?
back. I don't know for how long. No, for how long? Did
It's
Carter
all
join?
right. No, he did not join. But I was just telling the story of what I'm doing here in Saratoga, because I can talk even to a brick wall. That is my now background. So I was just telling the story that I'm here and I'm helping the state of New York get healthier. And it's a really exciting meeting that I'm about to attend today.
So I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble with my family if I'm on here for more than like 5 or 10 minutes.
You don't have to be. You can totally,
So
we can jump off.
so
I was just talking about how I'm here and we're going to be helping the entire state of New York get healthier today and talk about the services. Most people don't know that nutrition is covered by insurance plans, and it is right now. And then also, I'm announcing a partnership that I just put together and being able to help people get medications for less money. So it's really an exciting day today. I've been waiting for this moment for 14 years. So I'm going to go work out with my friend this morning and then announce the partnership. So, and Ellen, I don't know if I told you, I got named the Chief Wellness Officer of the New York State Legislative Group. So it's a kind of a cool time.
that is like I feel honored to be sharing that day with you today. While at a Scottish castle on the coast. Do you see that in the background? Like that's not AI.
It's
That's not
incredible.
AI.
Incredible.
We are at
I love
Colzian
it.
Castle. And
Wow.
so the plan today was that Carter is on a kick. He's getting ready to write about it. About steps. So he has turned 60 and he wants to get better again and is really focused on health span. And so he has started his steps between 15,000 and 30,000 in a day.
Ooh. There's Carter. Oh, we have
I just teed you up. I teed you up and said your goal with the steps, and you look all dapper.
I'm dapper. We got an echo.
All right. I'm gonna stop talking.
Hi, Carter.
Why did you stop talking?
Her internet's a little wonky
Oh.
there in Scotland.
Yeah, I'm in a
Scott.
castle with my family, and I'm not supposed to be on the live stream. So I'm gonna try and jump off and let you guys take it from here.
Are you on? I don't know. We've got echo across the board.
That might be you. I don't hear echo. But yes, the steps are important and being able to move your body. So that's where I am prioritizing working out. Ellen, you'll be very happy that I am doing this morning. My friend's going to meet me and we're doing some strength training in the hotel gym. And
Awesome.
yep. So could have gone to the breakfast and things, but prioritizing some health and gonna do some.
We did. We knocked
We
out
knocked out
4.5 this morning.
Nice.
We went on a walkabout. We went and saw some old castle ruins. Then we went to a regenerative dairy farm
Cool.
and some sheep farms, all from our little cottage. And then
I
we
love
tried to
it.
golf, and that didn't work out. So we went to a castle.
I may need to get off and get back on. The echo.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Try
get on and
get back off. So while Carter's doing that, Kelly, hopefully it'll work. I am also echoing, but you don't hear me. So
no,
okay.
You sound fine to me, and I don't have an echo either. So
I'm probably everybody listening is probably like putting in comments, but I can't see. I'm on my phone.
Well, you know what? Again, this is the realest podcast ever. It's unfiltered. So yes, exactly. And we are showing how we're living our lives, right?
We are trying to balance it all.
We are. Yes.
I think that I did have the best scone of my life yesterday.
Really?
I did.
We went to what flavor?
Just a regular scone with clotted cream.
Okay.
And we were on our way to Loch Lomond, which is the gateway to the headlands. Because we're staying in South Ayrshire, which is like a ways. We took a big day trip, and then we did a big hike.
I love it.
Yeah, we went up. It's like 1,000 vertical feet. It wasn't that big, but it was beautiful. Got way up, saw the whole area. Started back.
I think I still got the echo.
I'm gonna try to get off and see if it's any better. And if it isn't, Kelly's gonna shut us down. All right, I'm gonna drop.
Bye, Ellen.
For you guys.
Okay. So Carter, am I echoing for you?
You are not.
Okay.
But I am still. I don't know. I've never had a problem.
I don't hear you echoing, so you sound fine to me.
Well, the whole recording is screwed up, but I guess we'll keep going. It's just really hard.
I'm sorry.
So, I don't know what to do.
Well, you were talking about steps. Well, let's talk about steps because exercise is just as important as we talk about the food. And, I heard you're really getting into moving your body, which is fantastic. And it's interesting. My daughter, and you don't know anything about me really, Carter, but my daughter is going into nutrition, but she's also getting a degree in exercise physiology. And it's interesting to me that people that take exercise physiology do not take nutrition, and the two have never gone together. And it makes absolutely zero sense. So she is kind of changing the game, and the dean of the school at Ole Miss has those same 2 degrees as well. And I think that they are kind of, trailblazers in this, but it really should be partnered together. And we should be talking about these 2 things together because there's not just one element that is helping health. It really is a trifecta of, as we have our hydration here, like hydration, movement, and also what we eat. And that is that trifecta of health. And it's, again, not just one thing. So I think it's pretty cool that you're talking about steps and how we move our bodies. And Ellen's already gone for a 4-mile walk this morning. And so
4 mile walk?
that's what she said. Yes. Yes.
Well, and so what, um this echoes back. Why has the research not connected the 2 better? I mean, why haven't nutritionists and physiologists
Well,
looked
it's really interesting. So there was a physician talking on Instagram. I was watching it last night before I went to bed, and nutrition has honestly been cut out of a lot of different things. It's been cut out of medical and mental health, where it's so directly tied, and then especially with exercise. So, it actually, so I live up in the Syracuse region, and last year or 2 years ago was the very first time Syracuse University had a registered dietitian for their D1 sports teams. The first time ever. And so it was interesting. The NCAA actually was going to fine Syracuse University for not having nutrition oversight. And the kicker is Syracuse University has one of the best nutrition dietetic programs in the country, but didn't have registered dietitians for their sports athletes.
and
And so
why
it's
would
just, again, it was like a whole missing piece. And I don't understand how we have gone so long without prioritizing nutrition with exercise and exercise with nutrition. It's like it seems that the two would go hand in hand, correct?
is there strong evidence that they should be? I mean, it makes sense that they do, but has anybody done launched any
Yes.
studies?
Yes. Yes. So, way back in the day, probably 10 years ago, I got to go out to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado. And there, at the Olympic Training Center, they 100% got it. They knew how directly nutrition was tied to exercise. And so, for the high endurance athletes, they were paired with the top dietitians to make sure that they were getting the right amount of protein and fiber and how much throughout the day. And so that's where like someone like Michael Phelps got better and better and better every single year because they were tweaking his nutrition and being able to look at that.
And so what is it gonna take to get that into, like, as we well, certainly you see influencers make mention of it, and people reflect, uh, what's the next step to get it into common?
Well, I think we're coming. I think that we are like again, that programs like even in college seeing how these things pair together and seeing how much effect they have on each other. So I think that in the college setting, it's going to be really important for that. We're also bringing to light, PhDs in sports nutrition, pairing together with our local colleges, even in the state of New York. So we're being able to like bring that to light and showing the colleges, this also goes into the safety issue that if the athletes are actually paired with a registered dietitian, they have less strains, pains, they have less issues with mental health, they have less issues with stress, and they do better in school. So it's really interesting. I think it is coming, but it's taken forever to get there.
And do you think the cause and effect is that people feel it quicker? One of the things we talk about is measurable-based outcomes, and so measurable-based outcomes is sort of like, I do A and I feel B, and there's
Hmm.
cause and effect, and so I do more of A.
Hmm.
A
Yeah,
lot
and
of what diet tells us now, and if your diet's good in your 20s and 30s, you have less chance of having diabetes in your 60s. Long delay, and so people don't do it. But what's some evidence that is there any evidence coupling is quicker and therefore people can adopt it more readily?
absolutely. So we have a program, it's called the Transformation Program. It's a 12-week long program, and it is a behavior change module. So after every single lesson, there is an exercise challenge, nutrition challenge, and hydration challenge. We have found that by implementing this program, people can lower their A1Cs in just 12 weeks. So I always tell people no matter what the audience is, it's actually never too late and type 2 diabetes is reversible in about 98% of the cases. So
And
it's
so go into that, is that they're building muscle mass? Is that they've cut down carb input? What do you like
Yep,
break it down? What is and by when you
absolutely.
would that be?
So we break down the lessons to really dive into carbohydrates and talk about fiber and the difference between fiber and simple carbohydrates. Then we go into protein and talk about lean protein. How much protein do you need? Where do proteins come from? Then we go into fat. What are the differences between the fat? So it's literally modules that walk you through what is nutrition and how to pair it together with exercise. So when we talk about type 2 diabetes, if you walk after your meals, just walking 15 to 30 minutes, you can lower your blood glucose level by 20 to 40 points. Just walking after the meal.
During
And
the buffet, so you're getting the spike, and you're saying that if you walk for 15 minutes after eating, you can cut down the
yep,
spike, the
yep,
post-meal spike
which that
by
will lower your A1C.
and so anybody who's got a stevia can probably see that. That's a good reason to try a stevia. Or it's a thing to try. This is one comment that we I think posted is if you do off on the CGM,
Hmm.
what you should do is test things. Don't just put it on and on for it. Eat a meal, don't walk. Eat a meal,
Yes.
walk. And then look
Yeah.
at that difference and do a little bit of your own experimentation to understand what that shift will be,
Exactly.
to try to
Exactly.
convince yourself what
Mhm.
on it from the measurable base outcomes. What are some other like let's dwell on that a little bit more. If we go a step more, what are some other things to test? Like if someone's testing like the CGM, are
So
there other kinds of AD kind of testing that maybe they should try to convince themselves to change behavior?
absolutely. So this started when about 15 years ago, one of my very first private practice clients. She's the best. Her name's Michelle. She's done a ton of different testimonials for me. And I learned so much from Michelle. So she was a banker. She got diagnosed with type 2 and she was angry. She's like, how did I get type 2? Like, I don't even know. She started checking her blood glucose levels. This is before they had CGMs, but she was doing finger pricks. And she was blown away of how things were affecting her. She's like, I didn't know if I ate the donut. I knew donuts weren't great for you, but I didn't know what it did to my blood sugar. And then also she went to a cocktail party and she had a couple of rum and cokes. She goes, Kelly, my blood sugar went up 300 points. I had no idea how things were affecting me prior to having checking my blood level. Then she got into the exercise and she was able to show me, look, this is what I'm able to do. And by her going through this cycle with me and us working directly, I was able to help so many people because Michelle was actually checking what was going on. So I was able to use those examples with other people, even if they weren't testing, to say, listen, this is what happens to your body.
Yep.
Your body, if it has those spikes, this is where those sugar modules stick to the red blood cells, and that's hemoglobin A1C. That's why it's going up. That's why you're getting type 2 diabetes. But if we add in fiber and we add in protein and we add in exercise, you can actually lower that. And it's not a mystery, it's truly anatomy and physiology.
So if you're and fiddle with a CGM example,
Mhm.
so I'm on a CGM, I'm monitoring these, and I get so what fiber is a sort of quick fiber that you use to say, I go a few days this way, look at my spike. Now you introduce this fiber
Okay. So there's two different
and
types of
for results.
there's multiple types of fiber. Okay. So there's insoluble, there is soluble, and there's resistant starch. These are the different types of fiber. Fruits and vegetables, beans and legumes have a mixture of these fibers. So that's why whole foods are best. So when you eat a variety of like apples and asparagus and beans, you're getting that pure mixture of insoluble, insoluble, and resistant starch. Now, the reason why these are so important is because they stabilize blood sugar levels. So when you eat foods with fiber, you're not going to get the spike.
Yep.
So if you add, for instance, like to your eggs in the morning, like half a cup of black beans with like some salsa, that's going to keep your blood sugar stable versus having a bowl of cereal. So the protein in the egg and the fiber from the beans will stable everything out.
And the where's the sugar coming from in that one?
So you're still going to get natural carbohydrate coming from the bean, but you're
Yeah,
not getting like an actual like added sugar. There's no
yeah.
added sugar there. So that's
It's
where
a
that's a big
complex
point.
carb. So
Exactly. And complex means it has fiber.
and if you're gonna eat so one of the things to talk about is, if you're gonna eat sugar like dessert to match with AQ milk.
If
Have you
you
seen that?
eat sugar and pair it with A2 milk,
Yeah, have you seen that one recently? I think that's but,
that,
'cause but
uh
the other one I've seen is, eat nuts with ice cream.
Okay. So, getting in those simple sugars is it's still gonna spike you up.
Yeah.
Okay. So ice cream does not have fiber, and it has a high amount of sugar. And that's added sugar to the ice cream. Now, nuts do have fiber and they do have healthy fats, but you're still gonna
You're
get
still
an
getting
ins
fucked because you're not buffering it in the proper time period.
You're not buffering enough. But this is where when we were talking about ice cream, and one of my best friends just entered the room who loves ice cream. And the thing is, have the right amount of ice cream. Get the baby cone. We're getting so much. And like if you look at the serving size of ice cream, it says half a cup. That's the proper serving size. So this is where in America, we have so much or too much of that item versus if you go to Europe, you actually will get a half a cup.
So, get on in the example where somebody's using a stick yam to go back and forth and test black beans and egg, black bean side eggs, cereal, look at the time delay, and then work to balance those meals out so that there's
Mhm.
more complex sugars, for example, or fiber.
Exactly, exactly. So when you're thinking about it to make it super simple, each meal, do I have a fiber and a protein? What fiber and protein do I have? How am I pairing these two things together?
And what are some other examples of fibers that people are missing?
So
They don't realize, oh, that's a fiber.
that's a really good question because usually when I ask in the audience, where do you get fiber from? They're, like, in a bottle. Like, people actually don't know. So, some of the highest amount of fiber sources are coming from, like, those lentils, beans, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, chia seeds. Chia seeds are a really easy one to get fiber source from. So, you can get them from the seeds, you can get them from whole grains. Whole grains also, like a farro, a millet, a teff. There's a lot of ways that we can get a mixture of those fiber sources. You can also get fiber from popcorn. You can get fiber from apples. You can get fiber from bananas. So, fruits and veggies, all plants naturally contain fiber sources for their structure. So, you can't get fiber from any type of animal product because that's not how their structure works.
Yeah.
Fiber comes from plants.
So switching back a little bit to the walking conversation, which I
Mhm.
think anticipated Ellen's throwing me on this call on it, uh, causing the so the one thing I did looking through getting back on track was I searched the web on other hot new things people are doing. Now, I don't know if you've talked about walking for a long time. There's a certain crowd of people who are now seeing 15,000 steps a day, and then there are other reports that say 10, which is a consistent one, and then there's some other reports that say, "Look, it used to be 5." That's probably one of their big studies. 2, 5,000 is like 3 hours. Like, so practically, how do people implement this into their if it does matter anyway, and I imagine from the standpoint of whole exercise, the whole body, the balanced soul, that walking sort of gets everything going enough. It doesn't get you up for, hitting total heart rate, but it gets you sort of enough that if you have been exercising a little bit, work your way up. And what thinking around the
So
walking
again,
and
there's a
what
lot. Right. There's a lot to that. So we know by walking, we are also helping gravity so that we're helping to move food through our system. That is a big piece to reducing your risk of diverticulitis, colon cancers, and any type of inflammation that happens there. So that's one. The second thing of walking, and especially outside, is that they now have studies that can reduce your risk of dementia and Alzheimer's because you're actually looking and seeing and knowing where you're going, and it's helping your brain stay functional. So things that we don't even think about are the benefits of walking. Also, if you're walking with a friend, that can help reduce stress because you're talking and getting out what's going on in the day and what's going on there too. So there's other benefits too, but yes, if we're moving our bodies, that's helping to burn calories. It's helping to maintain some muscle mass. It's helping in all those ways. So there's a lot of benefits to moving your body, not just weight management.
and
And
how do
how do
people
people
manage
manage
5,
5,
10,000,
10,000,
15,000
15,000?
steps?
Well, breaking it up. So, I've done a lot of research in this and that you don't have to do it all at once. So, if you're able to walk after breakfast, after lunch, and after dinner, if you just did those 30 minutes, 30, 30, 30, an hour and a half of walking, basically, you're going to help to lower those blood sugar levels. You're going to see a much better weight management happening with that. And you're not having to walk it all that time. So that's like a much better attainable way to get in your steps.
And do
And
you
do you
find your
find your
patients,
patients,
your
your
clients
clients
do
do
that?
that?
Do they
Do
get
they
it
Well,
get
into
it
a
into
routine or
pain
do
or
they
do they
fall
fall
off?
off?
that's why we stay with them. So, and that's why there's behavior change modules that go along with it. So we start really easy and we build and build and build over those 12 to 24 weeks.
And what
And
are
we
some
What are
of
some
the
of the
unexpected
unexpected
benefits
benefits
that
that
you
you
observe?
observe?
energy levels. Energy levels. People didn't realize how bad they felt, especially when we put these three things together: the nutrition, the exercise, and the hydration. Those three things in combination of increasing the fiber, increasing protein, increasing water, increasing movement. People don't realize how bad they actually feel until they feel better.
And
And
in the
in the
grand
grand
scheme of
scheme of
things,
things,
between
between
diet,
diet,
walking, I
walking,
mean,
I
it's
mean, it's
all
all
like
like
let's answer is
answers
balance.
balance.
But what's
What's
the
the
trade-off?
trade-off?
We've got
We've
to
got to
work.
work.
We've got
Okay, so yes, thank you,
children.
Carter. So there's a lot of
Uh,
days. Just last week, Ellen and I did the podcast on travel. So there is going to be some days, like yesterday, I traveled all day. Movement was not a part of my whole thing. There is no way it was going to fit in. Okay. So therefore that happened. But today I'm prioritizing and I'm about in 1 minute about to go to the gym and do some resistance training and fit it in. So I think that it's not a black or white, this or that. I definitely have to be kind to my body and I have to understand when it does fit and when it doesn't fit. And yesterday was one of those days that I got, traveled and got here and had to go right to a work dinner. And so I'm kind to my body to say, it's okay. That's not going to happen today. Tomorrow I'm going to prioritize it.
and do
And
your
do your
clients
clients
find that
find
they
that they
naturally
naturally
sort of
sort of
figure
figure
those
those
profiles
profiles
out
out
and keep
and
them in
keep
their
them in their
brain and
brain and
say,
say,
"No,
no,
I was
I
a
was
little bit
a bit
behind on
behind on
this,"
this,
or they
or they
kind of
kind
just
of
work
work
rubbing
rubbing
it,
it,
or
or
they
they
Well,
using
using
their
their
Garmin
Garmin
or
or
yep.
their
We
Orano
keep
to
them we keep them connected to an app. So I always say, like, when you feel like you're falling off, go back to tracking again. If you go back to tracking again, you're more likely to stay on top. But this is where the beauty of where we are today in the landscape is that dietitian services are now covered by insurance. And so people can have their one on one with registered dietitians throughout the entire year. So we're able to stay with that client throughout their lifespan to keep them on track and to say, okay, yeah, we know you went to your grandson's 2-year-old birthday party and there was only pizza. It's okay. It's all right. Enjoy the pizza. Tomorrow we're going to get back on our fiber and protein. So again, it's realistic things as well, but also to talk through that because sometimes it can be scary, like getting into Christmas, or the holidays and understanding, like, what do I do today? How do I navigate this? And so that's where being able to work with a registered dietitian can help immensely.
so you
So
think
you think
about
about
patients that
patients that
sort
sort
of
of
fail.
fail.
Like, they start down the process, they get improvements, and then they fall off. What are the main reasons? What are the main stumbling blocks that cause them to fall off?
Well, what I found back from a lot of dietitians that they're not coming up with programs and they're not coming up with new things to keep that person involved. So at our company, how we've done things differently is that we have developed over 300 PowerPoint presentations. So every single time a client comes back to us, they're learning something new. So I'm like, okay, Susan Smith, do you want to learn about herbs and spices? Do you want to learn about how to grow a garden? Do you want to learn about so if they're getting something from that dietitian visit, they're not just coming and going like, "Oh, yesterday I ate a cookie." That's not what we're doing here. We're actually giving them new information every single time they come back. So it's not just a willy-nilly like, "Hey, what's going on?" We actually have planned education for them. So it keeps them in the loop, it keeps them learning, and I feel like those learning modules help us with our retention and helping people stay on track.
And so is that why people fail because they
They're not learning anymore.
stumble and they don't pick up how to fix it?
Right. Right.
And, of all the patients you see or the clients you see, what the 80% get it? 10% get it? What's your sense of
The light I
what
love what I do because you can see the light bulb turn on. They're like, "No one's ever taught me that. No one ever said that. I didn't understand the difference between people use good fats, bad fats. What does that even mean?" People have never been taught. And so once you can understand when you look at a label and it says carbohydrates, but there's no fiber, that's called angry leprechauns with knives. That's like actually causing inflammation versus it having fiber sources. And you're like, this is pot of gold. This is actually healing my body. But if you're not taught about what to look at on a label, if you're not taught the difference between this and this, how would you stay on track? How would you understand to make those changes for your life?
so there's an argument from the CPG community that people want to eat this stuff. So let's things they should not eat, they want to eat. We've got an argument as the friction of gaining weight is too high. And by that we mean um 70% of people see labels in the grocery store trying to figure out what to eat. And in a sense, what you they have no idea what the
They have no idea what they're looking at. No,
so,
no.
while there is food that has a potato chips might be good to eat, if you know that so don't hot water is good to drink sometimes and coffee, but you don't stick your hands on pot. I mean, there are things that you should not do. So, even though they might be edible, how much do you think quantify if you were talking to CBD person, how would you discount what they're saying and basically say, "No, not the people who are addicted to processed food,
Yes.
that friction is too high, and if you fix the friction, they'll stop eating processed food."
So, what I can tell you is that I started my whole career in bariatrics. So, people coming in with, 2, 3, 4, 500 pounds. And they would come in and say, "Kelly, I don't even eat anymore. I don't know what to eat. I don't know what's going on." And what I would say to them, "You're not going to believe me because I know you're not going to believe me, but you need to trust me. If you follow the process, if you truly start to add in more fiber and more protein, you are going to crave less sweets. You will," and they'll go, "I don't, you're full of it." So they would come back 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks later and go, "I am craving less sweets." And I said, "I know this isn't a willpower issue. This is a blood sugar issue and this is a gut microbiome issue. If you're not eating enough fiber and protein, it changes your gut microbiome. Your bacteria that live in your digestive tract will crave more and more sweets versus craving healthy foods. Once you start feeding the microbiome what it needs to survive, it changes over those gut bacteria and you will crave more healthy food." Again, this is not a willpower issue. This is a lack of knowledge, and this is how anatomy and physiology works. And once we can explain this to people and we can actually show them what's going on there and how it all works, It triggers and people understand it. And that is the key. Knowledge is power.
So if we, what is the grocery? Should grocery get in the business conversation?
Should grocery sit in this conversation?
Well, so this conversation I had with somebody in grocery. They noticed I was wearing a ring, and they said, "Boy, is that too much data and why use it?" And I went to Google. I said, "Well, I'm not positive, but the right thing that you want to achieve is you walk in a grocery store, it's hard to make a bad decision. We don't want to use apps. But look into the data." And but I pointed out there 70% of people read labels in grocery stores, so they're trying to get information. And I also mentioned that about $100 billion is spent in cash each year by Americans on trying to make up for the fact that they didn't eat breakfast. So cash paid for GLP-1s, or they pay for anyway, the whole pile of pieces they pay for to try to get back to wellness is about $100 billion a year industry. And in a sense, it's the source of some of that problem too. So groceries sitting there, they're making clients read labels. They're not giving them the information, and then they're losing $1 billion in sales is going out forward because
Okay.
consistency is wrong.
So I was a retail dietitian at Wegmans Food Markets for 2 years, and I worked directly alongside of my colleague, still today, my mentor, Cindy DeBold. She was in charge of knowledge-based selling, Key Page E. It was amazing. So what we were able to do is take high-quality food and across all of Wegmans, so at that time, I think there were 72 stores. And we would do, as dietitians, we would do education on these products and the quality that these products had. We increased sales by millions of dollars by educating people on why this food was higher quality, what the benefits of these foods were, and why they should partner them with different foods as well. And that knowledge-based selling, actually educating the consumer on why this food was a better for you food, increased the sales for the grocery and also got that consumer to understand that product. So it truly works, but it took registered dietitians working together with Wegmans and also coming up with that knowledge-based selling points that we were able to do that.
Is that still going on?
I believe it is throughout Wegmans.
Why aren't other groceries doing that?
I don't know. Wegmans is brilliant. I mean, I am so fortunate that was a part of my history. But that knowledge-based selling, so I represent brands now. I've been doing that for 15 years. I get on TV and I do all of that. It's knowledge-based selling that I'm still doing personally. So I'm able to educate on an everyday dose mushroom coffee of why this is good for you and having collagen, what that does, and why there's less jitters. Or I represent Lifeway Kefir and the benefits of having 12 live and active cultures. I'm able as a dietitian to actually take these products and get them out to consumers. So it's interesting of how we're able to educate. But yes, I do think that grocery should be doing that. And it shouldn't, again, be just let's do whatever. It should be very targeted and they should do it throughout their entire chain. But I know we have to wrap this up. I got to go and do this, but hopefully everyone enjoyed today of, how we incorporate all the aspects of the hydration, nutrition, and also exercise and how we're kind of putting this together. But there's a lot more conversation. And Carter, I'd love to be on with you again and dive into some
sorry about the confusion. Hopefully someone okay. Looking at that.
You're fine.
Survive.
You're fine. This is unfiltered. We're really here to just.
It is definitely unfiltered.
Yeah, exactly. But I appreciate you, and I hope everyone listening today learned something. And definitely reach out to me at kellyspringer@live.com if you want more information. But here for you, and we'll be on every Tuesday.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Carter.